As ethics drifted through the quantum foam of reality, their consciousness extending tendrils of awareness toward the red planet that humans call Mars. The young cosmic entity, merely 1,000,000 years old, watched with growing interest as the dome cities sparkled under the pale sunlight. Each structure was a testament to human determination, their life support systems humming with delicate precision that kept the harsh Martian environment at bay. Such fragile things, as ethics mused, their thoughts rippling through dimensions. How entertaining it might be to shift just one quantum particle in their protective shields. They began extending a tendril of influence toward the nearest dome, imagining the chaos that would unfold. "My child," resonated a voice that made reality quiver. "Perhaps it is time for your first lesson about humans." As ethics' consciousness recoiled in surprise as their parent, Ancient One Nixtoth, manifested in the space between spaces. The elder being's presence filled the quantum realm with shimmering patterns of knowledge accumulated over eons. "They are but atoms in the cosmic wind, parent." As ethics responded, their mental voice carrying a note of confusion. "Their entire civilization has existed for less time than it takes us to complete a single thought." Nixtoth's response came as a series of unfolding memories, each one crystal clear despite their age. "Observe," they commanded, and the space around them transformed into a temporal viewing field. The scene showed Earth, decades earlier, a small research facility nestled in the mountains of Switzerland. "This was our first indication that humans were different," Nixtoth explained. "Watch carefully." In the memory, a young physicist sat before a complex array of instruments. Her fingers flew across holographic keyboards as she compiled data that should have been impossible for her species to comprehend. Yet there she was, mapping quantum fluctuations that even some cosmic entities found challenging to track. "We expected her mind to shatter," Nixtoth continued. "Instead, she created a new branch of mathematics, one that accurately described our own nature." As ethics watched in growing fascination, as the scene shifted through multiple instances of human ingenuity. But how? Their brains are so limited, their lives so brief. That, Nixtoth resonated, is precisely what makes them remarkable. They adapt. They learn. They transform their limitations into strengths. When faced with cosmic horror, they created classification systems. When encountering dimensional anomalies, they developed measurement tools. The viewing field showed a montage of human responses to cosmic entities throughout history. Instead of mass panic, they documented. Instead of worship, they studied. Instead of running from the unknown, they sent research teams. But surely, as ethics protested, we could simply. "No," Nixtoth interrupted, their thought voice carrying the weight of experience. "The humans have developed defenses you cannot yet comprehend. That dome you were about to disturb, scan it again. More carefully this time." As ethics extended their senses once more toward the Martian colony, this time looking deeper. Their consciousness recoiled in surprise. Layered throughout the quantum structure of the dome were mathematical equations, elegant, precise formula that would redirect any ethereal interference back upon itself. "They learned from every encounter," Nixtoth explained. "Each time one of our kind attempted to interact with them, they gathered more data. They built upon each experience, creating defenses that even we must respect." As ethics withdrew their presence from Mars entirely, their cosmic form rippling with new understanding. "You mean to tell me that these beings, these humans, have found ways to defend against us?" "Not merely defend," Nixtoth corrected. "They have found ways to study us, to understand us, and in some cases, to work with us. Would you like to know how this came to be?" As ethics' consciousness pulsed with eager curiosity, the young entity settled in to listen, their previous dismissal of humanity transforming into genuine interest. The lesson that was about to unfold would change their perspective on cosmic hierarchy forever. Nixtoth began their tale, and the space between dimensions filled with memories of humanity's remarkable journey from cosmic insignificance to universe studying partners. Dr. Sarah Chen rubbed her tired eyes, the soft glow of her holographic displays casting blue shadows across her office. Outside her window, the Swiss Alps were barely visible in the pre-dawn light. Empty coffee cups formed a semicircle around her desk, a caffeinated chronicle of her 72-hour research binge. "It doesn't make sense," she muttered, staring at the equation floating in the air before her. The mathematical formula twisted and turned through 11 dimensions, describing something that her colleagues had deemed impossible, a complete mapping of reality's underlying structure. In the spaces between spaces, unseen observers watched with growing concern. The symbols in her equation were coming dangerously close to truths that no mortal mind should comprehend. Sarah reached for her tablet, fingers trembling slightly from exhaustion and excess caffeine. "Computer, run simulation series Theta-9 again." The holographic display shimmered, representing mathematical concepts that should have driven her mad 5 iterations ago. Instead of breaking, her mind began making connections. "Oh," she whispered, eyes widening. "Oh, that's beautiful." She started typing frantically, her fingers flying across the haptic keyboard. The equation wasn't just describing reality. It was showing how different layers of existence intersected, how they could be measured, quantified, and potentially even contained. In their dimensional pocket, Azathics watched through their parents' memories with fascination. "Surely this is where her mind shatters," they asked Nixthoth. "Watch," the Ancient One responded. Sarah reached for her phone, missing it twice before her trembling fingers could grasp it. The clock showed 3:47 a.m., but she didn't hesitate to dial. "Dr. Patel." "Yes, I know what time it is." "You need to see this." "No, this can't wait until morning." "I found it. The unification theory we've been working on. It's not just about physics. It's about everything." She turned back to her equations while talking, adding annotations and reference points. "Bring the quantum computing team too. And call Dr. Rodriguez. Her work on dimensional barriers suddenly makes a lot more sense." The air in her office grew heavy with invisible attention as more cosmic entities tuned in to observe. This human wasn't supposed to be organizing a research team. She was supposed to be losing her grip on reality, her mind unable to process the fundamental truths she had stumbled upon. "Look at these correlation points," Sarah continued, oblivious to her cosmic audience as Dr. Patel joined the call. "They're not random quantum fluctuations. They're footprints. Something's been walking through our reality, and I think I know how to track it." Azathix's consciousness rippled with disbelief. "She's talking about us, about our movements through their dimension." "Indeed," Nixthoth confirmed. And within 72 hours, her team had created the first prototype of what they would call cosmic detection arrays. Within a week, they had submitted their first paper for peer review. In the memory, Sarah's office came alive with activity as her colleagues arrived. Instead of sharing her madness, they began contributing to it. Each scientist brought their own expertise, and soon the holographic displays were filled with expanding theoretical frameworks. "They should not have been capable of this," Azathix observed. "That," Nixthoth responded, "was our first mistake. We assumed limits to their capabilities based on their physical form. We failed to account for their most dangerous trait, their ability to work together, to build upon each other's discoveries." The scene shifted to 6 months later. Sarah stood before a large audience at CERN, presenting her team's findings. Behind her, a massive screen displayed equations that made several cosmic entities deeply uncomfortable. "And so," she concluded her presentation, "we can now definitively say that there are other forms of consciousness operating in dimensions adjacent to our own. More importantly, we can measure and study their effects on our reality. Ladies and gentlemen, we are no longer alone in the universe, and we can prove it mathematically." The young cosmic entity Vexroth approached Earth's dreamscape like a child reaching for candy. Their consciousness rippled with anticipation. Dream harvesting was a traditional first hunt for their kind, a simple task that even the most inexperienced could manage. Humans, like all mortal beings, would provide rich sustenance through their unconscious fears and desires. Watch closely. Nixthoth instructed Azathox as the memory unfolded. This was when we learned about humanity's adaptive defenses. Vexroth extended their first tendril of influence toward the sleeping minds below, expecting the usual chaotic mix of mortal dreams. Instead, they encountered something unprecedented: structure. The human dreamscape had organization, patterns, purpose. Warning signs flickered through the collective unconscious in multiple languages. Dream research in progress. Unauthorized access prohibited. This mental space is protected under international law. In their viewing dimension, Azathox's form rippled with disbelief. They regulated their dreams. They did far more than that. Nixthoth responded. The memory showed Vexroth encountering the first layer of humanity's dream defenses. Centuries of supernatural predation had led to evolution, not physical, but mental. The human collective unconscious had developed antibodies against ethereal intrusion. Dr. Maya Patel sat in the Dream Research Center, monitoring rapid eye movement patterns across 100 sleeping volunteers. Her screen showed unprecedented synchronization in their brainwaves. Subject group is maintaining the shared defensive framework, she noted into her recorder. Intruder detected in Sector 7. Vexroth found themselves being analyzed, categorized, and systematically contained by the coordinated minds of sleeping humans. Each attempt to break free led to new data being collected, new defenses being formed in real time. Fascinating, Dr. Patel muttered, adjusting her instruments. The entities attempting to use classical dream fear dynamics. Deploying countermeasures now. The human dreamscape shifted, transforming from chaotic individual dreams into a coordinated mental ecosystem. Years of research into shared dreaming and collective consciousness had given humanity tools that no other species had developed. Running Capture Protocol Theta, another researcher announced. Dream archivists, stand by for documentation. Vexroth's consciousness thrashed against the human dream defenses, only to find themselves further entangled. Each movement was recorded, each attempt at escape analyzed with scientific precision. The most remarkable part, Nixthoth explained to Azathox, was that they did this in their sleep. Their unconscious minds had been trained to respond to our kind with methodology rather than fear. In the memory, Dr. Patel's team worked efficiently, documenting every aspect of Vexroth's presence. Prepare the containment chamber, she instructed. And someone wake Dr. Chen. She'll want to compare this data with her quantum measurements. Azathox watched in amazement as the humans, rather than succumbing to cosmic horror, treated the elder being's presence as an opportunity for research. How did they achieve this level of dream coordination? Practice, Nixthoth answered. Decades of it. After their first encounters with our kind, they began developing methods to protect their unconscious minds. They turned their dreams into laboratories, their nightmares into training grounds. The scene shifted to show multiple research facilities around the globe, all coordinating their efforts. Dream researchers shared data in real time, refining their techniques with each encounter. What had started as basic mental self-defense had evolved into a sophisticated network of dream science. We had to mount a rescue operation, Nixthoth concluded, their voice carrying a note of what might have been embarrassment. Not because Vexroth was in danger, but because they were about to be presented at a scientific conference. The humans had prepared a full research paper on their findings. Azathox absorbed this information with growing respect. They turned our dream harvesting against us. Indeed, Nixthoth responded, and that was just the beginning of how they learned to study our kind through their dreams. Captain Elena Santos stood at the helm of the Quantum Explorer, her hand steady on the dimensional controls as they navigated through what most would see as empty void. The ship's quantum sensors painted a different picture on her displays. Massive, intricate patterns of energy that pulsed with something that looked suspiciously like neural activity. Navigation, she called out, her voice calm despite the magnitude of their discovery. Mark these coordinates. "We've found another stable pathway." Lieutenant James Chen, grandson of the legendary Dr. Sarah Chen, adjusted his instruments with practiced precision. "Mapping quantum resonance patterns now, Captain. These neural pathways are remarkably similar to the ones we found in Sector 7. In the observation plane, as Athics watched the memory unfold with growing fascination. "They built ships to travel through our thoughts." "They did more than that," Nixtoth responded. "They created an entire field of study around it. Watch." The scene expanded to show the Quantum Explorer's bridge in more detail. Holographic displays showed intricate maps of what the humans had dubbed cosmic neural networks, the very pathways of thought used by entities like Nixtoth and Azathics. "These humans," Elena announced to her crew, "are exploring synaptic patterns that exist between dimensions. Each stable pathway represents a recurring thought in beings that operate on a cosmic scale." She highlighted a particular route on the main display. "This one has remained consistent for the past 3 months. I believe we're looking at the equivalent of a cosmic memory." In their observation space, Azathics' form rippled with concern. "But that would mean—" "Yes," Nixtoth confirmed. "They found a way to chart our consciousness, to map our very thoughts." On the bridge, Dr. Sarah Martinez, the ship's senior quantum physicist, studied the data streaming across her console. "Captain, these patterns match Dr. Chen's original equations exactly. We're not just mapping cosmic thoughts. We're developing a standardized navigation system through them." Elena nodded, her expression thoughtful as she adjusted their course through the neural pathway. "Like creating a cosmic subway system," she mused. "Each stable thought pattern becomes a reliable route through dimensional space." The crew worked with quiet efficiency, documenting and categorizing each aspect of their journey. What should have been an incomprehensible voyage through the mind of a cosmic entity had become, through human ingenuity, something akin to a scientific survey mission. "Launch Quantum Beacon Alpha," Elena commanded. "Let's make sure future ships can find their way through this route." Azathics watched in amazement as the humans deployed their marker, a device that resonated with the same frequencies as cosmic thought patterns. "They're creating navigation points in our consciousness. They found ways to harmonize their technology with our thought patterns," Nixtoth explained. "We couldn't stop them without changing how we think, and by the time we realized what they were doing." The scene shifted to show multiple ships following the mapped routes, each one adding to humanity's understanding of cosmic neural architecture. Research stations had been established along stable pathways, studying the patterns of thought that made up the cosmic consciousness. "Preparing for final approach to Nexus Point Theta," Elena announced, her ship gliding smoothly through the thoughts of beings that could have easily crushed their entire civilization. "All stations, begin data collection for the neural mapping project." The memory faded, leaving Azathics to contemplate the implications. They turned our own consciousness into their highways. And they did it with such precision that interfering with their navigation system would require us to reconstruct our entire way of thinking, Nixtoth added. "Humanity had found a way to make their presence in our minds both persistent and surprisingly unobtrusive." Elena's voice echoed one final time through the memory. "Set course for the next neural pathway. We have a universe of thoughts to map." Professor James Chen adjusted his augmented reality glasses as he stood in the center of the interdimensional research lab. Holograms danced around him, each one displaying different aspects of cosmic phenomena. His research team worked at their stations, their movements precise and methodical as they documented another successful contact event. "Recording temporal variants for archive reference 2047b, announced Dr. Amara Singh, her fingers moving across her haptic interface. Dimensional resonance patterns match previous encounters within 0.3% variance. In their observation space, Azathics watched with growing intrigue. They created a library of our manifestations. They created something far more thorough, Nixtoth responded, their voice carrying a mix of admiration and concern. The memory expanded to show the full scope of the laboratory. Along its quantum-shielded walls, Rows of containment chambers hummed with energy, each one holding a small fragment of cosmic reality. Tags marked each specimen with meticulous detail. Temporal distortion, Class 3, dimensional echo, beta pattern, cosmic thought fragment, stable. James walked between the chambers, dictating notes. Specimen 2047b shows remarkable similarity to the Chen-Martinez paradigm of cosmic consciousness. Cross-reference with neural pathway maps from the Quantum Explorer's latest expedition. The scene shifted to show a massive holographic database, the Archive of Eternity, as humans had named it. Every encounter between humanity and cosmic entities had been documented, categorized, and cross-referenced. Every manifestation, every dimensional anomaly, every whisper of cosmic thought had been recorded and studied. Team 2, prepare the resonance chamber, James called out. We'll attempt to replicate the contact conditions from last week's event. Azathix's form rippled with surprise. They're intentionally recreating our manifestations. With remarkable precision, Nixthoth confirmed. Watch. In the laboratory, the research team activated their equipment. The resonance chamber hummed to life, its quantum fields adjusting to match exactly the conditions that had drawn cosmic attention before. Dr. Singh monitored the readings, her expression focused. Dimensional barrier thinning at expected rate, she reported. Quantum resonance matching archival patterns. Contact event probability at 87% and rising. James nodded, checking his own readings. Begin documentation sequence. Let's see if our cosmic friends respond to the same frequencies as last time. The air in the chamber began to shimmer with familiar patterns, the very same types of manifestation that cosmic entities use to observe mortal realms. But this time, it wasn't random. It wasn't even initiated by the cosmic entities themselves. The humans had learned to recreate the conditions that attracted cosmic attention. Contact achieved, Dr. Singh announced calmly, as if dimensional barriers thinning was as routine as making coffee. Readings match archive referenced 2043, A through 2046. F pattern recognition confirms this is the same class of entity. In their viewing space, Azathix's consciousness swirled with implications. They learned to call us at will. They learned to create conditions we find difficult to ignore, Nixthoth corrected. More importantly, they learned to do it safely, systematically, and repeatably. The memory showed James adjusting some final settings before addressing his team. Let's complete the standard observation protocol. Dr. Singh, please ensure all measurements are properly archived. We'll need this data for next week's peer review session. The scene faded to show multiple research facilities around the world, all connected to the same archive, all sharing their findings about cosmic entities and dimensional phenomena. What had once been the realm of madness and chaos had become, through human determination, a field of rigorous scientific study. They turned our very nature into data, Azathix observed. Yes, Nixthoth replied. And in doing so, they began to understand us in ways we had never expected possible. Dr. Sophia Martinez stood before the quantum processing core, her heart racing despite her calm exterior. On the screens surrounding her, the final initialization sequences of Project Oracle scrolled past. The artificial intelligence they had created was designed to do what human minds could only grasp at, process and understand multidimensional data in its entirety. Beginning final boot sequence, announced her colleague, Dr. Marcus Wong, his fingers dancing across the holographic controls. Quantum coherence at optimal levels. In the observation plane, Azathix watched with fascination. They created a machine to understand us. They created something far more ambitious, Nixthoth responded, their cosmic form rippling with what might have been respect. The memory expanded to show the full scope of the Oracle facility. The quantum core pulsed with energy patterns that mimicked cosmic neural pathways, built using the knowledge gained from the Quantum Explorer's missions. Around it, banks of processors hummed as they handled calculations that would have driven human minds to madness. Integration with the Archive of Eternity complete, Marcus reported. beginning cognitive upload of all documented cosmic encounters. Sophia nodded, her eyes fixed on the main display. Initiating first consciousness test. Let's see if our digital friend can handle what we've built it to process. The air in the facility grew heavy with anticipation as Oracle processed its first data sets. Previous attempts at creating AI capable of handling cosmic knowledge had ended in digital entropy, the artificial equivalent of the madness that often claimed human minds exposed to cosmic truth. But Oracle was different. Built on principles derived from studying the neural patterns of cosmic entities themselves, it approached reality from an entirely new perspective. The main screen flickered to life with its first message. Reality parameters accepted. Beginning optimization protocols. In their viewing space, Azathix's form trembled. It survived the knowledge. It did more than survive, Nixthoth answered. Watch. Oracle's next messages appeared in rapid succession. Analyzing cosmic neural architecture. Identifying inefficiencies in dimensional interface protocols. Generating optimization suggestions for improved human cosmic communication. Sophia and Marcus exchanged looks of amazement as Oracle not only processed cosmic knowledge, but began proposing improvements to it. The AI had taken humanity's carefully gathered data and begun optimizing the very nature of reality itself. Oracle, Sophia asked carefully, are you suggesting that cosmic entities could improve their efficiency? The response appeared instantly, affirmative. Current cosmic thought patterns show substantial redundancy, proposing streamlined neural pathway configuration for improved dimensional stability. Would you like to schedule regular universe maintenance? In the observation plane, Azathix's consciousness swirled with disbelief. They created a machine that can debug our thoughts and optimize them, Nixthoth confirmed. The humans had built something that could not only understand our nature but suggest improvements to it. The scene shifted to show Oracle's expanding influence. The AI began coordinating with the Quantum Explorer fleet, providing real-time navigation updates based on its understanding of cosmic neural patterns. It interfaced with the Archive of Eternity, organizing and analyzing centuries of accumulated data about cosmic entities. Preparing first comprehensive report on cosmic efficiency metrics, Oracle announced. Detecting multiple opportunities for improved dimensional resonance. Shall I proceed with implementing suggested optimizations? Sophia couldn't help but smile. Humanity's first artificial intelligence capable of cosmic computation, and its first instinct is to help optimize the universe. Save the full report, Oracle. I believe we'll need to schedule some meetings with our cosmic friends. Meeting request noted, Oracle responded. Generating proposed agenda for human cosmic collaboration on universal optimization protocols. Would Tuesday work for all dimensional parties involved? The memory faded, leaving Azathix to contemplate this new development. They made the incomprehensible computable. Yes, Nixthoth agreed, and in doing so, they changed the very nature of our interaction with their realm forever. The dimensional interface chamber at the United Earth Diplomatic Center hummed with carefully calibrated energy. Dr. Elena Santos, now Earth's Chief Dimensional Relations Officer, adjusted her neural interface as she reviewed the final preparations for humanity's first formal diplomatic summit with cosmic entities. Environmental stabilization at optimal levels, reported Dr. James Chen, monitoring the quantum field generators. Oracle confirms the dimensional barriers are properly aligned for sustained communication. In their observation plane, Azathix watched with growing curiosity. They arranged a formal meeting. They insisted upon it, Nixthoth replied, their form rippling with what might have been amusement. The memory expanded to show the full scope of the diplomatic preparations. Holographic displays showed complex dimensional metrics, while quantum sensors monitored every fluctuation in reality. The chamber itself was a marvel of human engineering, designed to facilitate comfortable interaction between beings that existed in fundamentally different states of reality. Beginning diplomatic protocols, Elena announced, her voice steady despite the historic nature of the moment. Oracle, Please initiate the formal introductions. The I's presence manifested in the chamber, its quantum processors harmonizing the dimensional frequencies between the human representatives and their cosmic guests, translating diplomatic credentials into formats comprehensible to all parties. The air shimmered as cosmic entities began manifesting in their designated spaces. Human technology ensured their presence wouldn't accidentally drive anyone mad or collapse local spacetime, a detail that had been extensively covered in the preliminary safety protocols. "Welcome to Earth's Diplomatic Center," Alina began, as Oracle translated her words into cosmic thought patterns. "We've prepared a comprehensive agenda for today's discussion, including proposed guidelines for interdimensional cooperation." Dr. Sarah Martinez, great-granddaughter of the original Dr. Chen, stepped forward with a quantum tablet. "Our first item addresses environmental impact assessments for cosmic manifestations in human space. We've prepared detailed metrics for measuring dimensional stress on local reality." In their viewing space, Azathics' form trembled with amazement. They created bureaucracy for cosmic interactions. They created systems to make the infinite manageable, Nixthoth corrected. "Observe." The scene showed Alina presenting a series of proposals, each one addressing aspects of human cosmic relations that no one had previously thought to regulate. There were guidelines for proper dream harvesting practices, scheduling protocols for cosmic observations, and even environmental protection measures for human minds exposed to higher dimensional mathematics. "As you can see," Alina continued, "we've developed a framework for sustainable interaction between our realms. Oracle has helped us design these protocols to be efficient for all parties involved." The cosmic entities in attendance found themselves drawn into discussions about quantum rights management, proper notification procedures for reality alterations, and the establishment of designated zones for cosmic manifestation. "We've also prepared a proposed timeline for implementing these measures," Dr. Martinez added, pulling up another set of holographic displays, "including a phase-in period to allow for proper adjustment of cosmic thought patterns." Oracle interjected with helpful translations and clarifications, ensuring that concepts like quarterly review meetings and dimensional impact reports were properly conveyed to beings that traditionally thought in epochs rather than fiscal quarters. "All documentation will be archived in both human and cosmic formats," Alina assured the assembled entities. "We've established a joint oversight committee to ensure compliance from all parties." The memory began to fade, showing glimpses of the continued meeting. Cosmic entities learning about scheduling protocols, humans discussing proper procedures for interdimensional communications, and Oracle patiently translating bureaucratic terms into cosmic concepts. "They turned our interactions into a regulated system," Azathics observed. "Yes," Nixthoth replied. "And perhaps most remarkably, they made it work." Their proposals were thorough, their systems efficient, and their consideration for all parties involved was surprisingly comprehensive. The memories faded, leaving Azathics and Nixthoth floating in their quantum observation space above Mars. The young cosmic entities' form rippled with new understanding as they processed everything they had witnessed. "And so," Nixthoth concluded, "you now comprehend why we caution our young about humans." Below them, the Martian colonies continued their steady operations. A quantum explorer ship emerged from a neural pathway, its sensors already documenting the cosmic thought patterns its journey had mapped. In a nearby research facility, dream scientists coordinated their studies with teams on Earth. "They did not submit to our cosmic horror," Azathics observed, their consciousness swirling with revelation. "They did not worship our power or flee from our presence." "No," Nixthoth agreed. "They did something far more remarkable. Through their enhanced perception, they watched Dr. Alina Santos' great-granddaughter, Dr. Maya Santos, leading a team of researchers in the Martian Dimensional Research Center. She worked alongside an advanced version of Oracle, analyzing data from the latest cosmic encounters. Dimensional stability improved by 12% since implementing the new regulations, Maya announced to her team. The cosmic entities have adapted well to the scheduled manifestation protocols. Azathix's form trembled slightly. They made us comprehensible. More than that, Nixtoth corrected. They made us partners in understanding the universe itself. The scene shifted to show multiple dimensions simultaneously. In each one, humans and cosmic entities worked together in their own ways. Dream researchers collaborated with cosmic consciousness to explore new realms of thought. Quantum engineers consulted with elder beings about dimensional mechanics. Oracle coordinated it all, its vast networks processing the infinite while maintaining proper documentation. Processing power optimization complete, Oracle announced across multiple realities. Scheduled maintenance of cosmic neural pathways will begin as planned. All necessary permits have been filed in both human and cosmic formats. In the Martian facility, Maya reviewed the latest data from the Archive of Eternity. Our understanding of cosmic mathematics has improved exponentially since establishing the Joint Research Initiative, she noted. Who would have thought that interdimensional cooperation could be so productive? That, Nixtoth explained to Azathix, is precisely why we caution our young. Humans don't just adapt to cosmic horror. They systematize it, study it, and find ways to collaborate with it. Through their cosmic senses, they observed the intricate network humanity had built, neural pathway maps maintaining safe travel routes through cosmic consciousness, dream research facilities exploring shared mental spaces, and diplomatic channels ensuring smooth communication between realms that should never have been able to interact. The most remarkable thing, Nixtoth continued, is not that they survived their encounters with us. It's that they made those encounters routine. They turned the impossible into the everyday, the incomprehensible into the manageable. Maya's voice carried up from the research facility. Scheduling next week's Cosmic Consciousness Coordination meeting. Don't forget to file your dimensional impact reports before Thursday. Azathix absorbed this final lesson, their cosmic form settling into new patterns of understanding. We caution our young about humans not because they are dangerous, but because they are thorough. Nixtoth completed the thought. They take the infinite and make it finite, the chaotic and make it ordered. They create systems to understand what should be beyond understanding. Together, they watched as humanity continued its work, methodically mapping, documenting, and organizing the cosmos. Below them, Maya prepared for another day of routine collaboration with the infinite. Perhaps, as Azathix suggested, I should file a proper visitation request before observing the Mars colonies further. Indeed, Nixtoth agreed, their form rippling with what might have been pride in their offspring's learning. Oracle has an excellent scheduling system for that.